Hello and welcome to another edition of WTF Just Happened Today, your essential guide to making the news make sense. It's Tuesday, February 24th, 2026, and I'm Matt Keyser. Today's edition was written and edited by me, and this audio version was narrated using text-to-speech and a clone of my voice. Same stories, just rewritten for audio. Now, here's what just happened today. First up, Trump will deliver his first State of the Union of his second term with his approval rating near an all-time low, and polling showing that 55% of Americans disapprove of his job performance. Trump is expected to use the primetime speech to argue that the economy is strong, prosperous, and respected, pointing to last year's tax cuts, job growth, lower gasoline prices, and stock market gains as he tries to address affordability. The speech comes days after the Supreme Court struck down Trump's tariffs, forcing him to retreat from his signature economic policy. Trump is also expected to frame his immigration crackdown as a success that turned our country around from the brink of disaster. Even federal agents killed 2 U.S. citizens in Minneapolis. Next, at least 45 congressional Democrats plan to skip Trump's State of the Union, while others will use their guest seats to bring survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse into the House as a public demand for transparency and accountability around the administration's partial release of files. Meanwhile, Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger will deliver the Democrats' response to Trump's State of the Union, putting her kitchen table affordability message at the center of their midterm strategy. Spanberger's aides say she will focus on rising costs and argue Democrats should be judged on whether they deliver on prices people feel in groceries, housing, and utilities. In other news, Trump's promised 15% worldwide tariffs go into effect at 10%. The White House says the 15% increase is still being worked on, but no order is issued, leaving companies and foreign governments to plan around a moving target. Europe warns the new duty will stack on top of existing tariffs, pushing some EU exports above the ceilings in the EU-US trade deal, as Trump uses Section 122 authority to implement tariffs up to 15% for 150 days. Next, the Justice Department withheld some Epstein files tied to allegations that Trump sexually abused a minor and removed other documents where accusations against Epstein also mentioned Trump. More than 50 pages of notes and memos from FBI interviews with a woman who accused Trump of sexually abusing her as a minor appear to be cataloged, yet not publicly posted in the Justice Department's database. The missing material appears in DOJ and FBI tracking records and in discovery logs from Ghislaine Maxwell's case. Other Trump-mentioning records were either briefly pulled and later restored or remain offline and unavailable. The Justice Department, meanwhile, said any unpublished material is privileged, duplicative, or tied to an ongoing federal investigation, while insisting nothing has been deleted and that some files were temporarily pulled for redactions related to victim or personally identifiable information. Representative Robert Garcia, the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, said the Justice Department appears to have illegally withheld FBI interviews after reviewing the unredacted DOJ logs, prompting oversight Democrats to open a parallel investigation. The White House nevertheless said Trump has been totally exonerated and has done more for Epstein's victims than anyone before him. Also, Pentagon privately warned Trump that a major military strike against Iran could turn into a prolonged campaign that would likely produce U.S. and allied casualties and drain air defense interceptors. General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, raised the risks in internal meetings and at the National Security Council. Trump publicly played down the warning, saying Kane would like not to see war, but if a decision is made on going against Iran at a military level, it is his opinion that it will be something easily won. He also insisted it was 100% incorrect that Kane was against us going to war with Iran, and added, "I am the one that makes the decision. I would rather have a deal than not, but if we don't make a deal, it will be a very bad day for that country." The White House added that Kane's job is to give Trump unbiased information, and that he is always the final decision maker. Separately, the State Department ordered non-essential personnel and family members to leave the U.S. Embassy in Lebanon. In polling news, 61% of Americans think Trump has become erratic with age. 26% of independents approve of the job Trump is doing, and overall, his approval sits at 36%, with 63% disapproving. And 10% of Americans say things are going well, while 52% say things are going poorly and major disruptive change is needed. That's all for now. You can find the full edition and all the cited sources at WTFJHT.com. And if you have a minute, help me improve this audio edition. WTFJHT.com/feedback. Thanks for listening. I'm Matt Kieser, and I'm glad you're here.